Talk loud if I can. I'm not used to talking loud. I'm not used to having a booming voice. If you don't know, I'm Brad Jones. I play the cinema sound. This is Jillian, who I know from 80s Dan and Girl Who Talks About Twilight. Jake from the voice of Rob on 80s Dan, but you probably more so know him as guy who I sent to go see Smurfs. Who also saw Smurfs and Chipwrecked. Oh, you were there for Tree of Life.
We created our own Tree of Life. Don't you remember?
That was me. If you gotta ask, it was me.
Well, you saw some of Mr. Popper's.
I saw a little bit of the movie, but I had a much better show going on behind me. Oh, yes.
This is basically just going to work as a Q&A. If anyone has any questions, we will definitely do our best to answer. But anyone have any questions for us? Oh, done. All right.
Do you like bananas?
Yeah, I do. Oh, okay.
A couple meetings.
The gentleman back there. Yeah.
So Brad, if you could redo one of your earliest reviews with the skill you have now, which one would it be?
My first one, because it's terrible. Everyone is really like that. If you ask anyone who does videos, they'll say like, man, our early work really sucks. But most people who watch them tend to think they're all right. But just us personally looking back on it, it's like, wow, the voice is kind of off. Like it's pretty monotone. It's you can barely see me. There's like no lighting in the face. And also like with the time constraints of YouTube at the time where you couldn't go over 10 minutes. So like my first video is like 4.5 minutes long. And like now my average is like 15 minutes. So I did one, like the Caligula video was 70 minutes long. So I don't know if I would ever redo it, but that first one, I definitely would.
Now everybody's gonna go just check it out.
Yeah.
How bad is this?
I know, I should have said a video that I liked.
Yeah.
Will you be doing any more reviews of movies with the greatest action star of all time, Pierre Kirby?
There's one more Pierre Kirby movie left. It's a movie called Crackdown Mission. And I haven't done it. Crackdown Mission, yeah. I haven't done it because it's only available dubbed in German with no subtitles. But I do have it, and I am planning on doing it eventually. It's funny because I've seen it, and it's really, really good. It's the Pierre Kirby stuff where he's a cop in this one, but it's mixed in with a remake of Miss 45, which is a 1980 female revenge movie by Abel Ferrara. And so you have these scenes that are like practically a shot-for-shot remake of Miss 45, spliced in with this cop movie about Satanism. I don't know if you've seen Miss 45, but it's a lead character that's mute, that doesn't say a word through the entire movie. So you've got scenes where this character is spliced in with Pierre Kirby, and he's talking to her, but she's not saying anything back. He's like, so, I'm on the case. Do you have any information for me? And she's like, like that. He's like, okay then, thanks, and leaves. So there's one more left, and I'll be getting to that soon.
Excellent.
Do you have any plans for making the human starfish?
Three people sewn together ass to ass. Whenever Human Centipede 3 comes out, they are making another one. It's supposed to be like what, like 100 people or something like that? Like I think it'd be great if they make it into a circus. Well, they're not going to be alive that much longer anyway. You might as well.
Sew the mouths
A
together.
little merry-go-round.
Yeah. That'd be funny.
What do they say about talking about bringing both the guys from both, even though the one one's supposed to be a movie within a movie.
Yeah, they said something about how like the Doctor in the third one might be played by Udo Kier, which is yeah, which is really good casting. It actually would make me want to watch that. But whenever Human Centipede 3 comes out, we'll do the Human Spider 3 spoof trailer. But like the Human Centipede 3 is like slated for like 2013 or something. Like really, like it takes 2 years to make one of those.
They hand sew.
It's
When you just staple them together.
You'd think it lost its shock value by now.
Yeah.
People, I've seen that.
That's just a
Like, how are you going to?
Like the second one wasn't even shocking. It was just silly.
Isn't that what they said with Hellraiser?
Like 10, I think, 10 or 12.
But Hellraiser's a good movie in its own right, though.
Huh? Dance. They make it a musical. Yeah, just go. There
is a Human Centipede musical.
is there really? I was about to say. It shocked me if there wasn't a Human Centipede musical. Yeah. This musical's really good. It's actually surprisingly classy.
a very shitty musical. That's why I thought.
Yeah, it's shitty.
All right, folks.
Where did the idea of the Cinema Snob come from?
I was bored. I had done a few exploitation movies at the time. This was 2007, and I had a lot of free time. I was working a job that I only had to be there like 3 hours out of the day. So at the time back then, no one was really doing anything really comedic with exploitation movies, and that's definitely my genre. That's what I like. So I wanted to do something with that, and then we have a very, very snobby film commission in Springfield that I've had to deal with sometimes. So I kind of wanted to lampoon that a little bit, mixed in with like the Roger Ebert Friday the 13th Part 4 video where he's just belligerently angry. And Friday the 13th 4, like he's more angry at that review than Jason Voorhees is in the movie. Jason Voorhees is killing people. So it was just cartoonishly angry at this thing. So I was like, I can try to do something with that. And so that's what it was. I made some videos, I put it up, and the fan base slowly but surely started happening. But I just liked doing it, so I kept doing it. And again, like I said, I had a lot of free time, so it gave me something to do when I wasn't working or shooting a movie.
So tell us, what exactly was your first porn?
What was my first porn? It was
First one you were in.
You were first one
the
I
first
ever
one I
saw.
was in. The first one I ever saw was when my mom left one in the VCR. She left one. What is this? I could do that with that? I thought it went in the ass. It was 90s. It was early 90s, believe me. It was definitely early 90s. I don't know what it was called. I guess I could probably ask her. But my mom never really cared what I watched. So I remembered being, I don't know, like 14 years old or something, and going to the video store and renting like some of the classics, like Behind the Green Door, Debbie Does Dallas, Deep Throat, and stuff like that. And so like the next day, I would be like, Mom, I watched this really good movie last night, and Behind the Green Door is a really good movie. Like I was like, I watched this really good movie last night. It's called Behind the Green Door, and my mom's like, Behind the Green Door? I fucking love that movie. Right? That movie's really good. And same with like Debbie Does Dallas. Like that movie's hilarious. Like Mr. Greenfield hitting on a clearly high off her ass Debbie, Bambi Woods, who played Debbie. It's just great stuff. Yeah, those were among the first I saw.
In your opinion, not being the snob, actually watching the movie, what is the most offensive movie you've ever reviewed?
Offensive. Ones that I was actually, in terms of the worst movie I've sat through so far, it was Nuki. Most offensive would be stuff like the cannibal movies, or like they're slaughtering animals and stuff like that. It's like, fucking really? Like, oh yeah, this is so in context.
Like violent shit and stuff like that?
That wasn't really like offensive. It was just, you know what? The violent shit movies, like, as pretty bad as they are, the effects in them are really impressive. Like seriously, like as a reel for effects work, they're really good. Like the effects in that like blow out of the water like any of the modern day like horror movies that you see in cinemas, because it's mostly CGI now. And the stuff, like violent shit is better than like a mainstream modern day horror movie in terms of effects. But worse was Nuki. That was one where, because usually I don't get that mad when watching one of them. Because I'm done watching it, taking notes and looking for stuff to make fun of. And with Nuki though, it was so awful. I had to stop halfway through and go do something else because my life at that point was so sad. I had to do something else, and I had to go back to it the next day and watch the rest. And I was just so pissed off at this horrible movie. She remembers,
You were in a bad mood.
I was in a very bad mood, like, God. So like my anger really showed through in that video for Nuki, and I know like every year I tend to find one that's worse than the other. Like if you were to ask me this last year, I would probably say Night of Horror. If you would ask me the year before, I would probably say Las Vegas Bloodbath, but it's gonna be hard to top Nuki.
I remember watching the review, because I didn't watch that with
Yeah.
you, and I was like, that review is just painful to watch. I don't know how you got through that movie.
Those are my favorites, the ones where like it's punishing enough for just to watch the review. Like, wow, that movie was so bad, even the review was hard to sit through. Those are my favorites. I've gotten that with Nuki. I got that a lot with Nuki. I got that with Night of Horror.
Not your parts, your parts. It was just the clips. It was like, really? You said, how are you still? I was like, so sorry.
It was bad. But yeah, those are my those are my favorite episodes.
What's your favorite kind of movie to review?
My favorite kind of movie. I honestly ones that I really get to do some pretty good stuff with the character, like stuff like Maniac, stuff like Cannibal Holocaust, stuff that I genuinely like and I get to play up like the this is no Citizen Kane, you know, stuff like where I really get to play up like with Pieces and stuff like that, or Night Dreams, ones like that. If I'm really, really tired, I do the porno spoofs. So if I need a break, I do the porno spoofs. And the reason is because those don't take very long to get through. Because really, I just watch the spoof aspect of it. I kind of fast forward through the hardcore stuff because I can't show it. I can't show it on the episode. So like, and there's really nothing in there to make fun of. I mean, sometimes there is, like in Beaver and Buttface when he's and screwing some girl and stuff like that, or like E.T. the porno and stuff like that. Sometimes they're setting with this. There's two of them. Two of them.
You're not a porn writer, so please. There's a porno.
Yeah, oh yeah. E.T. There's E.T. the porno and there's Keep Up the Lust E.T. And E.T. the porno was much better because E.T. the porno, like they stuck to it, like they were committed to that. Like he's wearing this like trash bag looking creepy ass E.T. costume with like the big eyes and everything. And so they were like really committed to that. And like kudos to these guys in the scene who were, you know, with their stamina and everything, who can last throughout this whole scene. Kudos to that. That takes some doing. You know, they were more committed than Keep Up the Lust because in Keep Up the Lust E.T., it was a very chintzy looking costume. It was very cheap looking, and the guy loses the costume like halfway through the movie. It like turns into like this muscle-bound Brazilian dude. Like boo, stick to it, man. Go all the way. Like, what's so funny about the Brazilian one though is you can tell that the actress is so not into it.